Right, hello, I am Ben from the Greasy Gamers, and I'm joined with my sister.
Hello, I'm Emma.
And we're going to talk about the possibilities of what the next Pokemon games could be. First, I'm going to let my sister talk to you about why Delta Emerald is probably not going to happen.
Delta Emerald is probably unlikely to happen because it was included in the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Delta episodes.
Yes, and it was basically everything there of Delta episode is in the Delta episode for Delta Emerald, so that's that's not going to happen basically. And Emma, aren't you disappointed about what happened at E3?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, no Pokemon game announced. We all thought there was going to be one. There wasn't much hope, but
then there wasn't.
There wasn't. Nintendo E3 conference wasn't just, no. Anyway, now I'm going to talk to you about what about if Nintendo and Game Freak take the more traditional route and release Pokemon Z. Now Zygarde has, in many of its Pokedex entries, been said to have a hidden power. Now, if this could be a hidden power for a future game or just a thing which tries to make its Pokemon Pokedex entry a bit more interesting, we really don't know. But all we do know, Pokemon Z, kind of likely, kind of not likely, especially what a quote one of the people said, I can't remember his name, about them wanting to surprise people, and Pokemon Z wouldn't be wouldn't be surprising enough. So yeah, what did you think about that quote, Emma?
Well, it's a bit disappointing, but it was good.
Maybe Heart Gold and Soul Silver remakes. There's a possibility. I don't know, Mega Lugia and Mega Ho, but that's a bit unlikely. It is the anniversary of some games, so they might want to re-release Red, Blue and Yellow, which is always a possibility. Everyone thinks it's a possibility of Red, Blue and Yellow remakes, maybe like with the Megas and Raichu instead or something. I don't know, Mega Raichu. That would be really cool.
And maybe some new Eevee evolutions.
Emma's really keen. Emma's really keen on the evolutions.
I've made my own Eevee
She built her own Eevee team
on my 3DS.
Yup.
On Pokemon X.
She has Pokemon X. Maybe X, Z and YZ, because it was a supposed Korokoro leak. Sure you're all familiar with that Japanese magazine. We're all looking out for leaks. Maybe, but that leak, to be honest, looked fake. It was a good idea. I don't know who it was from. It might be real. We don't know. Well, I don't think really. The models of the Zygarde forms, they were okay, but I think they'd try and make it look a bit more awesome, like Black Kyurem and White Kyurem style thing. But mind you, if you do look at Zygarde, it does look a bit kind of like it needs something more.
That something. That little something.
That little something more. And we're also, Diamond and Pearl remakes aren't that, medium likely, because they're one of the only games without a remake, and it's entirely possible, but they haven't been out for that long. Mind you, Black and White got remakes quite soon. Oh, while we're on the subject of Unova, maybe Black and White 3, or Pokemon like Kyurem, I don't know, grey, whitish, blackish, that sort of colour, brown. Okay, White Kyurem will be brown. Or an entirely new generation. An entirely new generation is probably what we are most likely going to see.
I think what you meant to say was very, 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 very dark grey.
Very, very dark grey, that's for Kyurem anyway. But, a new generation is entirely possible. Maybe. It's pretty possible, to be honest. It seems fairly good to have a new generation. But, with the announcement of Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon being so late on in the year, are we actually going to get one in 2015? It's unusual, seeing as they normally release one for each World Championships. or are they going to do World Championships this year? To be honest, I don't know anything about the rota of the World Championships, but they usually have at least one new game out for them, so we could really hope, fingers crossed, that they'll release one, or at least announce one by the end of 2015.
I want a new game out.
She wants a new game out.
I want a new game out.
And we also hope they might make a Pokemon game for the Wii or the... Well, they haven't made Pokemon games. So we get a main series game for the Wii or the Wii U. Would also be entirely possible. But, to be honest, none of them really seem that possible. But to be honest, Game Freak are just going to surprise us in the end. And everyone just keep your fingers crossed for one in 2015.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Let's all just keep our fingers crossed, and that's about it for this video. Bye.
Bye.